When you look in the mirror, you see a human being, skin, muscle, organs, mind. But what if the entity staring back at you wasn't entirely you? Modern science reveals a staggering truth. The human body is not a singular organism. It's a walking ecosystem, a vast collection of trillions of microscopic creatures, bacteria, fungi, viruses, living in and on you. And here's the most shocking part. Microbial cells outnumber human cells by roughly 10 to 1. You are more microbe than human, at least if we count by number of cells. These microorganisms live everywhere, on your skin, in your mouth, throughout your digestive system, even deep inside your organs. Together, they form what scientists call the human microbiome, a dynamic, invisible world that is not just living with you, but actively influencing your biology every second of your life. Far from being passive passengers, these microbes perform critical functions. They digest food, regulate the immune system, produce vitamins, and even help maintain the barrier that protects your body from harmful invaders. Without them, you wouldn't survive. But their influence doesn't stop at physical health. In recent years, researchers have uncovered startling evidence that the microbiome also affects your brain. Experiments show that changes in gut bacteria can alter mood, anxiety levels, and even cognitive functions. Some scientists now refer to the gut as the second brain, not just metaphorically, but functionally. Inside your intestines, an intricate network of neurons called the enteric nervous system communicates directly with your brain through the vagus nerve, chemical messengers, and immune pathways. The microbes inhabiting your gut can manipulate these signals, producing neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and gamma-aminobutyric acid, chemicals that regulate mood, motivation, and calmness. In fact, over 90% of the body's serotonin, a critical molecule for happiness, is produced in the gut, not in the brain. The implications are profound. What you eat doesn't just nourish your body, it feeds the microbial empire inside you. And in return, that empire can influence how you feel, how you think, even how you behave. It's not science fiction. It's a scientific revolution unfolding right now. If microbes can influence how we feel, could they also influence how we act? The answer, surprisingly, is yes, at least to some extent. Studies in mice have shown that gut bacteria can alter social behavior, stress responses, and even risk-taking tendencies. When researchers transplanted the microbiome of anxious mice into fearless ones, the recipients became more anxious. And when they reversed the process, the anxiety diminished. This suggests that microbial communities can modulate emotional states and possibly behaviors tied to survival, reproduction, and group cohesion. In humans, the evidence is still emerging, but it's compelling. Certain bacterial strains are linked to depression, anxiety, and even disorders like autism spectrum conditions. Patients with major depressive disorder often have distinct microbiome imbalances compared to healthy individuals. And experimental treatments, like fecal microbiota transplantation, have shown early promise in shifting emotional and cognitive outcomes. But the influence goes deeper. Microbes can manipulate cravings. Certain gut bacteria prefer specific nutrients, sugars, fats, fibers. They can stimulate the host's appetite for those nutrients by producing chemical signals, modulating taste receptors, or altering reward pathways in the brain. In simple terms, your microbiome might be whispering in your ear, telling you to eat that donut, not because your body needs it, but because the microbes inside you do. It's a delicate symbiosis, but also a subtle battle for control. We often think of ourselves as autonomous beings, governed by free will. But part of that will, our desires, moods, even some decisions, is shaped by trillions of unseen passengers steering from within. This realization challenges centuries of philosophical assumptions about the self. Where does the you end and the them begin? Microbes don't just passively live in us. They co-evolve with us. They adapt to our diets, environments, lifestyles, and in turn, we adapt to their needs. Some scientists now argue that the true unit of natural selection isn't the individual organism, but the holobiont, the host and its microbial symbionts acting as a single evolutionary entity. From this perspective, you are not an individual. You are an ecosystem, an emergent collaboration between human and microbial life, built through millions of years of codependence. The influence of microbes extends beyond mood, cravings, and behavior. They are also architects of the immune system. From the moment we are born, microbes colonize our bodies, training our immune cells to distinguish friend from foe. Without them, our immune system would be dangerously underdeveloped, prone to overreact to harmless stimuli or fail to defend against real threats. In fact, emerging research suggests that the modern rise in autoimmune diseases, allergies, and inflammatory disorders may be linked to a disrupted microbiome, a phenomenon known as the hygiene hypothesis. Our ancestors lived in constant contact with soil, animals, and diverse microbial environments. Today, sterilized lifestyles, processed diets, and excessive antibiotic use have dramatically altered the microbial communities that shaped our evolution. And the consequences are unfolding across generations. Microbial imbalances, known as dysbiosis, are now implicated in conditions ranging from obesity to asthma to neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's. In many ways, the health of our microbiome mirrors the health of the environment. When diversity shrinks and symbiotic relationships break down, ecosystems collapse, whether in a rainforest or inside the human gut. But there is hope. Scientists are now exploring ways to manipulate the microbiome deliberately, through probiotics, introducing beneficial bacteria, and through prebiotics, feeding existing microbes with targeted nutrients, as through fecal microbiota transplantation, replacing a diseased microbiome with a healthy one. In the future, personalized microbiome therapies could become a cornerstone of medicine, treating not just digestive diseases, but mental health conditions, immune disorders, and even aging itself. Imagine a world where your doctor prescribes a custom microbiome cocktail to improve your mood, sharpen your mind, or extend your lifespan. It's not science fiction anymore. The groundwork is being laid today, but the implications run deeper. If microbes can influence who we are, physically, emotionally, cognitively, then understanding them isn't just a matter of health. It's a matter of identity. What does it mean to be human when the self is partly microbial? What does it mean to make a choice when unseen life forms help shape your desires? We like to think we are masters of our destiny, but in truth, we are symbiotic beings, shaped by ancient alliances with invisible architects. You are not alone in your body. You never have been. And perhaps the next revolution in understanding humanity won't come from looking deeper into the stars, but from looking deeper into ourselves. The idea that microbes shape our biology and behavior is revolutionary, but it forces an even more unsettling question. Are we truly individuals, or are we something else entirely? If our thoughts, moods, and immune defenses are influenced, even partially, by trillions of microscopic beings, then the classical concept of the self begins to blur. Philosophers have long debated the nature of consciousness and personal identity. Now, biology adds a new layer to the mystery. Perhaps the I we experience is a collaborative construction, an emergent property of human cells, microbial symbionts, and ancient evolutionary forces. In a way, each human being is more like a small planet, populated, shaped, and governed by invisible life forms working together and sometimes competing. And just as planets change over time, so do we. As we age, travel, change diets, encounter new environments, or experience illness, our microbial composition shifts, and so, subtly, might our emotions, our resilience, even our preferences. You are not the same microbial entity you were as a child. You are not the same being you will become 10 years from now. Your microbiome evolves with you, an invisible companion shaping the trajectory of your life. Understanding this doesn't diminish what it means to be human. It deepens it. It shows that life is not a solitary endeavor. Existence is not isolation. It is interconnectedness at every scale, from the galaxies above us to the cells and microbes within us. When we embrace this reality, we don't just see ourselves differently. We see all life differently, as threads woven into a vast, living tapestry, each thread essential, each connection profound. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest frontiers aren't out there in the stars. They're here, inside us, waiting to be discovered.